Alright, welcome everybody, we are in the next close look, and this one is gonna be about Abaddon. As you probably see, there are no really similarities between Abaddon and Omni Knight like it is in Dota 1. You know, there's lore issues also, because in Dota 1, of course, it was from a Warcraft free campaign, and then the Omni Knight basically died, and he became the Dead Knight with a sword, Dead Horse, and basically like a undead guy, because you were actually playing the undead campaign right after basically he died as a human. So we don't really have the similarity in Dota 2. It doesn't seem so. Doesn't seem any comparable to that hero. So, but it's okay. There's an additional thing with the skin. Like maybe I'm tired of like glowly blues, like light blue things. But I don't. I like this simplistic approach of a dead guy on a dead horse with a big ice sword. I kind of like that from Dota 1. It made kind of a sense for the lore 2 or story. This looks, kind of a normal. I think, of course, customization items could improve that. You could buy the dead horse with no glowy things, and I think it would make the hero better, but that's just details. We're gonna talk about here about skills, how to play this hero, what's the overall gameplay. I should probably say, because we are getting to the point that I really haven't played these heroes for about a year plus. Some heroes I haven't played for 2 years at least. So we are definitely getting to the point that I'm not 100% sure what these heroes, what changes were made, how they actually evolve into a game. So that's gonna be kind of interesting even for me to play them. So I'm not gonna specify any specific builds because, of course, I need to try it first. Because I'm not gonna just spit bullshit because I read it somewhere. I need to try it for myself and then actually tell you that. But the skills, we can actually discuss those. So we're gonna start immediately. I'm gonna start with his passive, and then of course we're gonna go for the free active / passive spells, let's say. So the first passive and only passive is Curse of Avernus, because he was actually called, his title was Lord of Avernus in Dota 1. Right now in Dota 2 we don't still have the titles, we have just the names. So the passive is, before he strikes the enemies, he actually puts debuff on the enemy. So you just need the animation for it. There's a debuff, okay, that the unit will be slowed by 5, 10, 15, and 20% right on level 4, and when you hit him, you will gain bonus, movement speed bonus and attack speed bonus. Also, this applies for your allies when there's the debuff, okay? And the debuff, which is interesting, is actually put on the target before you hit him. So only the animation is needed for the debuff. So debuff, debuff. I didn't hit anybody, and I still debuffed them. So it's pretty interesting that, for example, if somebody's like running with low HPs, you can still debuff him and then go for the other guy. And also, it applies this buff for you, applies for your allies. So for example, he's got the debuff on himself, which he has to have. Then he's gonna be gaining the movement speed and attack speed. Also, it's active for creeps. So I'm just gonna run on the lane, and we're gonna hit tower, because it should be working on a tower too. Or at least on the creeps. I think it should be working on tower last time I checked, but of course on creeps it's gonna be working too. So I'm gonna just get the debuff on these. See, my creeps are getting the attack speed, so for pushing, like, this is a big difference in sense of attack speed. So this is, I think, pretty good feature. So it works for all allied units, treant creeps, enigma creeps. Everybody will gain this passive bonus when they're gonna activate, or when they're gonna be hitting the guy with the debuff on himself. So that's the first spell, pretty straightforward spell. Of course, it's pretty important to level it up at some point because the movement speed is really good. Of course, with the face boots, 4, 4, 19, 500 almost. That's a big difference. You can definitely hunt people down with this type of a movement speed. So, and be, as annoying as you can be, because movement speed is one of the best abilities in the game. All right, so that's the passive. But this hero is definitely like right in your face, straight into the action. First one to receive the damage, and first one to be, behind the tower in your face. So that's why he is actually Aphotic Shield, which creates, the description is very long, but it's fairly simple spell. It creates shield, okay, that's gonna absorb some certain damage. The absorb damage is, of course, through levels, going up. So 110, 140, 170, and 200, and the burst radius, it's gonna explode right now, in the end of the duration, and deal, of course, the same amount of damage, equal amount that you absorb. So, for example, it's gonna deal right now 200 damage. Damage is magical. And also, you can cast it on your allies. And I would definitely recommend leveling this up. This was kind of the staple of the hero, because as you can see, the cooldown goes from 12 to 6 seconds. So you can definitely have more shields. If you're gonna cast the next shield on yourself, it doesn't mean you have a 2 shield, so 2 burst damages when it explodes. It just means the cooldown will overwrite the previous one. It's gonna be still 1 shield, so you're just gonna basically get a new burst threshold, which is gonna be the 200. So from that moment you're gonna cast again, it's gonna reset 200, and the duration is gonna reset too. That's a 1 shield only, so you cannot cast it 2 times on you. It needs to explode, which can be done, of course, by lowering threshold. And then you need to cast the next one if you want. Which in the beginning is pretty pretty effective, because 200 damage is not that much, but with the cooldown and your other spells, it's actually pretty big deal on the lane. And of course, this hero can be very aggressive, and on some certain type of lanes, for example, even with this guy, he's fairly aggressive too. Just putting himself in force something, like there's a lot of damage coming from this. So previously, if you're kind of wondering, the damage had to be, the threshold had to be basically, forced, and then it would explode. It wouldn't actually explode by the duration. Right now they fixed it. They actually buffed it a little bit by that. So that's the shield. It deals magical damage, as I said. Pretty good thing. And I should say removes certain types of negative buffs and stunts on the cast. So what it means, I'm not really 100% sure. I'm not gonna bullshit you. I haven't played this in 2 years, so you need to actually practice it in a game and then be quite real about it. Now, we have additional thing, Death Coil, which is actually thing from a campaign of Warcraft 3 that kind of stayed with him from the campaign, this ability, which is a heal or damage, okay? And also, when you're gonna cast it, it's a self-damage. Now, the damage or heal, or I should say the damage, is actually magical. So it's gonna do magical damage to the guys, and the damage dealt to you, which is actually half of what you're dealing in the sense of magical damage, is gonna be dealt in a pure damage. So you will lose the exact amount of damage, self-damage, and of course this damage is based on magical resistance. Now the good thing is that you can actually deny yourself with this. So that's maybe why this is not a bad idea to level this up, because in the beginning you have time, you have 50 HP, 75 HPs, you can just cast it, and also you can cast it on the creeps, enemy creeps, your creeps, so you can deny yourself even when there's, when you don't have time to turn. For example, your creeps are running this way, you can deny yourself of your creeps, basically, so you don't have to turn, because that might be your death. Now the thing is, this should be instant. I think there's a slight delay, I'm not really sure. There was also, it's not projectile, it should be instant damage. Of course in the campaign it was a projectile if I'm not mistaken. That's the spell, pretty straightforward. You can heal your allies. Again, in the beginning, that's the kind of aggressive nature of this hero. Of course, it counts to the shield thing. So if I'm gonna receive some damage, I can actually force the shield with this, or the explosion of the shield with this. As you can see, pretty low cooldown, 5 seconds for 75 mana. I think that's a pretty good trait. Of course the damages are not like crazy, but it's the whole thing of, just being in your face, hitting you, you're heading maybe back. I said you're heading back, then you're releasing the shield with the Death Coil, you are air casting another shield, you have another Death Coil. It's pretty kind of in your face, as I said, so nothing seems so crazy, but in a game it actually works very well. So that's the Death Coil, this ability. That's it actually. Nothing too crazy about this, And then Borrowed Time. It's 2 things can activate the spell. Your click or activation when you reach below some certain HP threshold, which is right now 400. Okay. So when you're gonna reach the threshold, we can do it very quickly. I actually need the what the fuck mode for this one, because, as I said, it needs to be done quickly. So we have 700 right now, 500. There we go. So it's gonna be activated. Nevertheless, what the enemy throws at you, it's gonna be activated on those 400 HPs. And if you're wondering, gee, he has 400 HPs. If there's a damage, for example 1000, that will kill him, right? It actually won't. Doesn't matter what HPs he's on. It's not gonna kill him because the ult is gonna prevent it. So the ulti, if you have it, nothing can kill you when you have the ulti. And if I say nothing, I mean nothing. So you put at 1 HP, doesn't matter the damage, doesn't matter the skill, you will survive even the axe initiation with the Borrowed Time. Of course you're gonna be on 1 HP, but the ulti has additional thing. when they are hitting you, okay, so any damage that you take is gonna actually heal you. So I'm gonna activate it here, it's gonna ulti me, use spells on me, it's gonna actively heal me. And of course the ulti on level 3 is 5 seconds and the cooldown 40 seconds. So if you're careful enough, you can definitely not necessarily die if you have some certain, of course, advantage. If you're level 5 and they're level 10, that's kind of a different story, different game. You know, that's called feat. But if you have this decent advantage, okay items, and you leveled up nicely, this spell is ridiculously good because, again, you can force so much of the enemy team. And of course in the beginnings, and people in Dota 2 will be kind of learning what is this hero about, because definitely a lot of people in the beginnings of some heroes, they have no idea what these heroes are doing anymore. So with this one, definitely, it will be time when there's gonna be like, hey, he's on low HPs, yo-ho-ho! He's gonna waste a lot of spells. You know, they're gonna be definitely attacking you, healing you through it, so, you know, some things you can just force on, in the sense of healing. So there's a Bro Strike Crixlis ulti. The ulti is not gonna stop, so you can just pop the ulti, and he's gonna heal through it. He's definitely gonna get like, you know, 50% of his HPs back, so that's an additional thing. If there's gonna be Goblin Techies, you get a Blade Mail, you activate your ulti, Blade Mail, and you kill him. You kill him with his own mind. So there's a lot of, you know, things that you can do with this hero later on. Skywrath Mage ulti, you will just bathe in this stuff. It will heal you. It's the fountain. Skywrath Mage ulti / fountain for Abaddon. So that is an Abaddon. On the lane, can be very aggressive, so you can go combos, very aggressive combos. I definitely remember from Dota 1 again 2 years ago, at least, even more when I was kind of playing it very, very actively. Even before I started making videos about it, I was playing it very actively. You can go aggressive lines with the Centaur, other heroes, diving towers. That's, you know, nothing new to the Abaddon gameplay, because you have the shield with very low cooldown. You can definitely withstand the damage. For example, Tuskar, you can put shield on both of you, and then just, you know, get to him, and he will like snowball you to it. And then the shield can actually explode under the tower. You can force, of course, the explosion yourself. So, yeah, this hero is definitely very aggressive, very tanky, as you probably see from the ulti. And also one thing about the ulti, it actually removes some certain slows. So if I have slow on myself, I can actually remove it. So if I just you know, this guy's the only one running and I still have the ulti, why would I not use it to kind of get the slow off and just, you know, get after him? Because obviously with this type of movement speed, he's not gonna be really running that far. Alright. So that's the hero, Abaddon. Definitely skill build. Of course, this is one of the best things that you can actually have. They, I think, improved the casting time and the range at some point when I was actually not playing him. That was definitely a problem when I kind of remember what I kind of remember for the old times, that this was just not enough. They didn't have enough range, which was kind of similar, I think, to the Omni Knight heal. It's kind of the same thing. But that's it. Pretty straightforward hero. Heal your allies, deny yourself. You have to, you know, we definitely have to try. I understand a lot of people haven't played this in like ages, so you have to get the timings go off. But definitely good lane partner. By the way, definitely should be farming. He doesn't get that good when he doesn't have items later on, but if he can get decent advantage in the beginning, he can be definitely pain in the ass for everybody. So that's it. Thanks for watching. This was Abaddon. I'm gonna be playing him. Depends when they release it. I would like to stream it, but of course if they release him 2 AM Friday for me, I can't really stream it. That's kind of too late. So I'm gonna be streaming him Friday, probably. Probably Friday stream like 10 PM CET. Maybe we're gonna start soon for this one. We'll actually have to see. Or I'm gonna play him just in the morning, and then of course we can do stream. Depends how Valve, or you know, how fast they're gonna release him. So thanks for watching. This was Abaddon. Hope you enjoyed it, and you will join the gameplay of mine later on.